Hey guys, so today I wanted to share a quick story and I want to talk about the importance of seeking God in everything we do, and particularly in dating, right? For those of us that are single and out here dating, maybe getting to know different people and things like that, it's just so important to seek God, as we're, navigating this dating space, right? And so let me just share this. So a couple years ago, I was getting to know somebody and I actually met him before the pandemic hit. So we had already been out and things like that. And so when we were in the thick of the pandemic a couple years ago, we would do a lot of video chats and things like that. So we were on video chat this particular day. And let me just say this, up until that point, I had no reason to think anything negatively about him. I had no reason to suspect anything. But this particular day, we were on video chat, like I said, and talking and laughing like we normally do. And his smile for some reason just started looking evil, like out of nowhere. It's just like his smile, it was like he had an evil grin. He went from just smiling to like it was like, I don't know, I can't explain it, but it just was like an evil came over him. And I heard domestic violence out of nowhere. And so, we kept talking and stuff. And once I got off, I kept thinking about that domestic violence. Like, where is that coming from? And so I went to go look him up online. And I do this with anybody anyway, especially if I meet somebody online. I mean, meeting somebody anywhere because of past experiences. And that's a whole nother topic. But, and I'm open about that. I let people know that I'm going to look you up. You know what I mean? And so anyway, so I looked him up, and believe it or not, when I looked him up, I saw several domestic violence cases under his name. And so I was like, wow, I saw those domestic violence cases. And like I said, I'm open about the fact that I'm going to look you up. So I brought it up to him, and he basically was saying that, he kind of explained it away, right? He was basically like, well, he had already told me about some things that he and his ex-wife had went through. And he basically said she called the police. And so there was never any physical violence, but she would call the police. And so he was trying to see his son and things like that. And so it will come up as a domestic violence case, right? And so I confirmed that with somebody else who said her son had went through that. He never put his hands on a girl, but because they had been arguing, the police were called. It was under domestic violence. It was a domestic violence case. So I kind of let him explain it away. I'll be honest, I let him explain it away. But this is why I want to talk about the importance of taking heed when God speaks to us, because God was literally speaking to me, but it was up to me to take heed to it. So anyway, long story short, I continued to get to know him. And it was over time that I began to see the lies. I mean, he literally lied about so many things. It would just be too much for me to even try to go into it in this video. But the point that I want to bring up is that God, he speaks to us, especially when we're seeking him. Because I'm always asking God, show me who's not for me, show me who's for me. If they're not for me, remove them from my life. Like, show me. And I pray this prayer, and maybe you do too. And we got to believe it when God shows us. So long story short, so many lies were coming out. I also found out that he had been married more than once. I knew about the one marriage, but there was just so many things coming out. And I remember after that situation, I remember going back to that moment where God showed me out of nowhere. That had to be God to speak to me domestic violence out of nowhere. And up until that point, there was nothing about him that said domestic violence, nothing about him that even said that he was a violent person. So I know that had to be God. Fast forward 2 years later, now we're in 2022, I found out that this man, he had since got married after we stopped talking, and he has already, his new wife has already divorced him due to domestic violence, to him physically putting his hands on her. And I just thank God for protecting me from that situation by showing me. And again, it was just up to me to take heed. So now I don't take it lightly when God shows me things. And since then, I've gotten to know other people, and God has also showed me things about them. And so that's why I wanted to share that and just stress the importance of seeking God in everything we do. And for those of you guys that are dating right now and you're seeking God and you're asking God, God, show me things about this person. Show me the red flag. Show me what I need to pay attention to. He's going to show you. But you just have to take heed to it. And believe me, I'm talking to myself as I'm talking to you, because like I said, I didn't take heed. I let him explain it away, and I kept getting to know him. And it was over time that I began to see just so many things about this man that was just, pure evil, okay? So I wanted to just share that. Again, Seek God in everything you do. Those of you that's out here like me, single, dating, Christian single, out here dating and getting to know people, and maybe you're like me, you're desiring marriage one day. Seek God in everybody that you meet. Some people are just there for a lesson. They say some people are there for a reason, some people are there for a season or whatever. Some people are a lesson, some people are a blessing, whatever the case. God is going to show you what that person is to you, but it is, again, up to us to take heed, right? The Bible tells us to seek God in everything we do, but then when we seek God, we have to take heed to what he is telling us and what he's showing us. So hope that this was helpful to you today. Be blessed.